the October 18th, 2022 City Council meeting, the Council will take a second stab at approving an agreement with Merced County for fire services. They will also be looking at approving a different agreement with the county for a FEMA grant to buy breathing equipment for the fire station. Greetings, everyone. This is the Gardening Snail of Livingston, California, just trying to keep the community informed and local government as honest as possible. In this video, we will be doing a brief overview of the City Council meeting agenda packet for October 18th, 2022. We will only be focusing on a few of the highlights, so feel free to pause and read for more details at your leisure. People are encouraged to participate via teleconference by calling 520-525-8911. Additionally, the meeting will be streamed on YouTube Live. Any writings or documents pertaining to an open session item provided to a majority of the members of the legislative body in less than 72 hours prior to the meeting shall be made available for public inspection by email if requested. Which seems to me to mean that if you want to see what was in public comment emails sent to the City Council about any particular topic, you will need to email a request after the fact. Let's move on. Public comments can be submitted via email at citycouncil@livingstoncity.com. Comments must be received by 2 p.m. on the day of the City Council meeting in order for them to be distributed to the Council prior to consideration of the matter. You will need to provide meeting date, item, number, name, email, and comment. Please limit to 300 words or 3 minutes, and please include public comment in the subject for the email. Written comments will not be read aloud at the meeting, unless a council member decides to do so, but will be reported as received for the record. Translation: if you want to know what was in it, you will need to ask for it after the fact. If you do not receive an acknowledgement of receipt by 4 p.m., please call the City Clerk's office at 209-394-8041, extension 121. Note, this technology is not a guaranteed method. Translation: if you really want to be sure your public comment is public, you need to show up to the council meeting and speak your mind in person. On to the agenda itself. After the call to order, pledge, moment of silence, roll call, and changes to the agenda is citizens' comment, where you are usually allowed to speak for about 3 minutes on any topic not already on the agenda. After that, there are 3 presentations followed by announcements and reports. After that is the consent calendar. Items 4, 5, and 6 are pretty routine. Item number 7 is about reassigning COVID relief money from business assistance to assisting residents with outstanding utility bills. Item 8 is about that FEMA grant to buy breathing apparatus for the fire department. Item number 9 is about the housing element, that part of a city's general plan that has to do with whether a city has enough land zoned for future housing needs. Last on the list is a discussion and potential action item to approve the Memorandum of Understanding between Merced County and Livingston for fire services. We'll get into a few of the details in a moment. Before we do that, I'd like to point out a little tidbit I found in the warrant register. Those of you who have been following Livingston politics for the past several years might recognize the name Best, and Kreger. That was the firm we had as our city attorney around 2008, 2009 or so, around the time of a highly controversial water rate study. If my memory serves me correctly, the city attorney at the time was allowed to choose the consultant preparing that study. Which piques my curiosity. Just what was Best, and Kreger doing for the city of Livingston now that cost us over $12,000? Moving on to the staff report about the approval of fire services agreement with Merced County for fire services. There's a lot of information in the staff report, and I'm only highlighting a few of the details. You might want to pause to read the rest at your own leisure. The last signed agreement between Merced County and the City of Livingston was in 1988. The 1988 contract between Merced County and the City of Livingston for fire protection services expired in 1995. Since the contract expired, below are a few examples of new laws and compliance requirements adopted by the state, CAL FIRE, and other regulating agencies. Fire protection regulations are very different from the guidelines that existed in 1995 when the agreement expired. Merced County entered into a services agreement with CAL FIRE in 1989. The proposed agreement will extend through a 10-year term through December 31st, 2032. City of Livingston Station 96 is the busiest county fire station. In addition, Station 96 is responsible for protecting a sizable section of State Highway 99 as well as various county roads. In fiscal year 2021-2022, the estimated portion of property taxes for fire services was estimated at $800,770. In fiscal year 21-22, total costs, county and city combined for fire suppression services were estimated at $1,390,698. This table shows expenses based on emergency responses only and a deficit of about $115,000 after accounting for the city property tax for fire service. The cost to increase Station 96's staffing to 2 is estimated at $799,806. Merced County has agreed to split the cost 50% county and 50% city. The city may look into funding fire protection services on its own. However, according to the staff report, the city's property tax fire allocation would fall short from covering these costs. The increase in staffing cost of $399,903 in city share will be funded through CFD 2005-1 with no impact to the general fund for fiscal year 2022-23. The fire station refurbishment project will be funded through reserves in the same fund and Municipal Facilities Impact Fees Fund, Fund 2002. For purposes of discussion, let's look at a couple of excerpts from the September 30th, 2022 Cash and Investments Report, just to get an idea about how much money are in those accounts at the moment. This reports a cash and investment balance of $1,361,682 in the Community Facilities District Fund and $956,199 in the Municipal Facilities Impact Capital Fund. Adding the two together gives us approximately $2,317,882. Subtracting the cost of the staffing increase and building refurbishment leaves about $917,979 in the reserve. If there is little or no additional monies coming into these funds, and the city continues to use the $399,000 plus from that reserve, the reserve would be used up in less than 2.5 years. Here's part of that staff report about the business assistance program I mentioned earlier. As of April 2022, no business has been assisted under the city's business assistance program. $192,541 in assistant payment funds remain. At this time, additional demand does exist to aid Livingston's households with rent, mortgage, and/or utilities. However, no other programs are available. There are no pending applications for business assistance, nor has there been any interest shown in the program since December 29, 2021. Therefore, staff recommends that the Business Assistance Program be amended to repurpose funding for a subsistence payment program. The city's eligible residents will be able to access these funds to reduce their outstanding balance on their utility account. Moving on to the FEMA grant. staff recommends that City Council adopt a resolution to authorize the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, between Merced County and the City of Livingston for FEMA grant assistance for fire equipment and authorize the city manager to execute related documents. Merced County is applying for a grant through FEMA to replace all the region's self-contained breathing apparatus. If successful, Merced County will replace all of the breathing apparatus on county and city fire engines. Merced County will cover the required 10% match funds for all agencies. There is no fiscal impact with the Memorandum of Understanding approval. On to the multi-jurisdictional housing element. This is an information-only staff report. A consent calendar item will be brought to Council in November for discussion and decision. Sounds to me like it should be a discussion and potential action item instead of on the consent calendar, but anyway. Under background, it says, California housing element law requires every jurisdiction to prepare and adopt a housing element as part of its general plan. Historically in California, it is typical for each city or county to prepare and maintain its own separate general plan and housing element. However, staff from the cities of Merced, Atwater, Livingston, Gustine, Las Banas, Dos Palos, and the county of Merced are discussing embarking on the region's first multi-jurisdictional housing element. State housing element law mandates that housing elements be updated every 8 years. A certified housing element is a key requirement to qualify for numerous state grants and funding. MCAG is offering to act as the fiscal agent and contract administrator for the multi-jurisdictional housing element. A kickoff meeting with the consultant and participating jurisdictions will be scheduled for January 2023. It's anticipated that all work will be completed by June 18, 2024. A joint effort has advantages, including economies of scale. MCAG developed a draft cost-sharing agreement to share the cost of this effort. The contract is estimated to be $1 million, with approximately half covered by MCAG REAP 1.0 funding. Upon receipt of the signed resolution, MCAG will issue each participating jurisdiction a deposit invoice per the cost-sharing agreement. Deposits will be due December 30th, 2022. Under fiscal impact, it says, the estimate for the City of Livingston's share is $55,954. There are consequences to not having an updated housing element, and some of them are mentioned here, and such as loss of permitting authority, financial penalties, and a court receivership. Here's Exhibit B with Livingston's estimated share of costs highlighted. If you like what I do here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook. And finally, the mandatory disclaimer. Editorial content is my own as a resident of Livingston and does not represent the views and opinions of the City Council or the City of Livingston itself.